Imagine two of the most powerful beings in existence, standing before an infinite, blinding pillar of fire that stretches upwards and downwards beyond all comprehension. One is the grand architect of reality itself, the being who dreamed the stars into existence. The other is the preserver, the cosmic manager responsible for maintaining the delicate balance of every galaxy, every planet, every single life form. Their mission, born from pure ego, was deceptively simple. Find the beginning or the end of this colossal pillar of light. The one who succeeded would be declared the most powerful. The creator god, Brahma, transformed into a swan of impossible speed and flew upwards, determined to find its peak. The preserver god, Vishnu, took the form of a powerful boar and began digging downwards, seeking its foundation. They traveled for an eternity, not 1,000 years, not 1,000,000, an amount of time so vast our human minds cannot even process it. Eons passed like seconds. Brahma soared through dimensions and realities we have no names for, the pillar of fire never ending. Vishnu burrowed through the very bedrock of existence, past the source code of the cosmos, only to find the pillar plunged ever deeper. Exhausted and humbled, Vishnu returned, admitting his defeat. There was no foundation. It was infinite. But Brahma, upon his return, told a different story. He declared he had reached the very top. And as proof, he presented a single flower, claiming he had found it at the pillar's peak. He had even convinced the flower to lie for him. In that instant, the pillar of fire cracked open, and from within its incandescent heart, a third being emerged. A being of such terrifying power and righteous fury that both the creator and the preserver trembled. He was Shiva the destroyer. And that pillar of light was him. For his cosmic lie, for an act of pride that threatened the fabric of truth itself, Brahma was cursed. He, the creator of all, would almost never be worshipped by the beings he created. This single ancient event raises a terrifying question that sits at the heart of one of the world's oldest faiths. If the God of creation can be so easily humbled, so thoroughly punished for a single lie, then who or what is truly in charge of reality? The answer isn't a single king on a golden throne. It's a dynamic, violent, and beautiful cosmic dance between three fundamental forces that govern everything from the birth of a star to the final beat of your heart. They are Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer. Together they form the Trimurti, a concept so profound it redefines what we think of as God. To understand them is to understand the very engine of the universe. Let's start with the one who started it all, Brahma. It's easy to think of him as the equivalent of a creator god from other mythologies. The one who says, "Let there be light." But that's like describing a quantum physicist as someone who just plays with marbles. The reality is infinitely more complex. In Hindu cosmology, time isn't linear. It's cyclical, a great cosmic ocean of birth, death, and rebirth. Our entire universe, with its billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, is just one bubble on that ocean. And Brahma's job is to exhale that bubble into existence. One of the most powerful images in this tradition is that of Vishnu, the preserver, sleeping on the coils of a giant serpent floating in this cosmic ocean. And as he dreams, a lotus flower blooms from his navel. When the petals of that lotus unfold, Brahma is sitting inside. It is from this position that he begins the act of creation, not with a hammer and anvil, but with his mind. He is the divine architect, the cosmic intelligence. The four heads he is often depicted with are not a sign of monstrosity, they are a symbol of his omniscience. Each head faces one of the cardinal directions, signifying that his consciousness and creative vision encompass the entire universe. From these four mouths came the four Vedas, the foundational sacred texts of Hinduism, containing the blueprints of reality, the spiritual laws that govern existence. He is the source code. In his hands, he holds symbols of his function. He holds a string of prayer beads, not just for devotion, but because they represent time itself, the inexorable ticking of the cosmic clock that he set into motion. He holds the text of the Vedas, the knowledge required for creation. He holds a water pot, containing the primordial, life-giving waters from which all of existence emerged. He doesn't hold a weapon. Why would he? His power isn't one of domination, but of origination. He is an artist, not a warrior, thinker, not a king. But here is a critical concept that separates this from many Western ideas of creation. Brahma is not alone. His power, his very ability to create, is inert without his divine consort, the goddess Sarasvati. She is the Shakti, the divine energy, the active force that brings his thoughts into reality. He has the knowledge, but she is the expression of that knowledge. She is the goddess of wisdom, music, art, and learning. Think about it this way. Brahma is the silent, unwritten sheet music containing a symphony of genius. Sarasvati is the orchestra that plays it, filling the void with sound and beauty. Creation is not a solitary act of a male deity, it is a divine partnership. It requires both the idea and the energy to manifest it, the blueprint and the power to build. This interplay is fundamental to understanding the entire Hindu pantheon. So if Brahma is this essential, this foundational, the very intelligence behind our universe, why is he the forgotten god? Why are there thousands upon thousands of temples dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva all across India and the world, but only a handful for Brahma? The curse from the pillar of fire is the mythological reason, a cautionary tale about ego and truth. But there's a deeper, more philosophical reason that speaks to the very nature of his role. Brahma's primary job is finished. He designed the universe. He set the laws of physics in motion. He brought forth life. His work for this cosmic cycle is largely complete. He is the architect who drew the blueprints and supervised the construction of a grand skyscraper. But once the building is finished and people move in, the focus shifts. It shifts to the building manager who ensures the lights stay on and the plumbing works. That's Vishnu. And it shifts to the demolition crew that will eventually be called in when the building grows old and needs to be replaced with something new. That's Shiva. Our lives, as beings living within this cosmic structure, are overwhelmingly concerned with preservation and change, with life and death. We pray for protection, for stability, for our world to be maintained. That is Vishnu's domain. We are also confronted with decay, endings, and the need for transformation, both good and bad. That is Shiva's domain. The act of initial creation, while profoundly important, is an event in the distant past. We live in the now, in the messy, beautiful, chaotic middle of the story. And so, humanity's focus turned to the gods who govern that middle. Brahma represents the principle of creation, a force that is less a personality to be worshipped and more a cosmic fact to be acknowledged. He is the Big Bang in personalized form, a magnificent, necessary explosion of thought and matter that set everything in motion, but has now receded, its echoes still shaping our reality while other forces take center stage. We have only just scratched the surface of the Creator, a being powerful enough to imagine the cosmos, yet flawed enough to be humbled by a lie. His story is a paradox, a figure of immense importance who exists on the periphery. But if this is the nature of the Creator, what does that say about the other two? What about the God tasked with preserving this impossibly complex universe from the forces of chaos? The one who walks among us in different forms, fighting to maintain a delicate balance we can't even see. And what of the Destroyer, the terrifying, enigmatic God of endings, who holds the power to dissolve not just our world, but reality itself, turning it all back to cosmic dust? The story of the Trimurti is not just the story of three gods. It is the story of the cycle that defines our entire existence. To grasp this cycle, we have to go back before the beginning, before time, before space, before the first star ever ignited. Picture a vast, dark, cosmic ocean, utterly silent and without end. This is the ocean of potential, where everything that ever was or ever will be sleeps in a state of perfect, undifferentiated unity. Floating on the surface of this infinite ocean, coiled upon the serpent of eternity, Anantashisha, is Vishnu. He is in a state of divine slumber, a cosmic meditation. The entire universe, all of reality, is just a dream in his mind. As he dreams, a lotus flower blossoms from his navel, growing on a stem of unimaginable length. And at the center of this cosmic lotus, another being awakens. This is Brahma. He opens his four sets of eyes, looking in all four cardinal directions at once, but sees nothing. Only the endless, dark ocean and the lotus upon which he sits. Confused, he wonders, who am I? Where did I come from? He sees the stem of the lotus and decides to find its source. He climbs down and down and down for 100 divine years, a length of time our minds cannot even begin to process. Yet he finds no end to the stem. Giving up, he returns to his lotus seat, mystified. It is then that he hears a voice, a single resonant word. Tapa. Meditate. And so Brahma, the first conscious being, closes his eyes and enters a profound state of meditation for 1,000 divine years. When his meditation is complete, his mind is illuminated. He now understands his purpose. He is the creator. But as he looks out upon the emptiness, a sense of pride swells within him. He is the first, the origin, the one who will bring forth all of existence. It is at this moment that Vishnu awakens from his slumber. He sees Brahma sitting on the lotus and smiles. But Brahma, full of his newfound purpose and pride, looks down at Vishnu and asks, "Who are you?" Vishnu, the preserver of a universe that doesn't yet exist, replies calmly, "I am the source from which you have emerged." This enrages Brahma. An argument erupts right there, in the heart of precreation. Brahma declares, "No, I am the creator, the self-born. You have come from me." They argue back and forth, two of the most powerful forces in existence, locked in a cosmic debate over their own supremacy before a single atom has even been formed. Their argument grows so intense that it threatens to destabilize the very fabric of potential reality. And then it appears. Slicing through the primordial darkness, a pillar of light erupts between them. It has no beginning and no end. It stretches infinitely upwards and infinitely downwards, humming with a power that dwarfs both of them combined. It radiates a light more brilliant than a billion suns. Yet it doesn't hurt their divine eyes. Both Brahma and Vishnu fall silent, completely awestruck. The argument is forgotten, replaced by a single, overwhelming question. What is this? They decide to find its source. It's a contest. Brahma, in the form of a celestial swan, will fly upwards to find its top. Vishnu, in the form of a powerful boar, Varha, will dive downwards to find its base. Whoever finds the end first will be declared the greater of the two. And so their journey begins. Brahma soars higher and higher, past nascent galaxies waiting to be born, past the very concepts of space and time. He flies for an eon, then another. The pillar of light remains unchanged, stretching endlessly before him. The sheer scale of it is humbling, chipping away at his pride with every beat of his powerful wings. Meanwhile, Vishnu dives deep. He plunges through the cosmic ocean, past the sleeping potential of worlds, past the very foundations of reality. He digs through layers of existence that have no name, pushing further and further into the infinite abyss. For 1,000 divine years he travels, but the pillar's base is nowhere in sight. Its power is absolute, its origin a complete mystery. Vishnu, the preserver, the one who understands balance and truth, finally accepts the reality of the situation. He cannot find the end. This pillar is infinite. Humbled, he turns around and begins his long journey back to the surface. Brahma, however, is still flying upwards. His pride, though wounded, will not allow him to accept defeat. Just as he is about to give up, he sees something falling from above. It is a single fragrant Ketaki flower. He catches it and asks, "Where are you from, oh beautiful flower?" The flower replies that it has been falling from the very top of the pillar of light for 30,000 divine years. And here Brahma makes a fateful choice. He sees an opportunity. He asks the flower to lie for him. "Come with me back to Vishnu," he says, "and tell him that you were at the very peak of this pillar, and that I plucked you from its summit as proof of my victory." The flower, awed by the creator god, agrees. Brahma returns, the Ketaki flower in his hand. Vishnu is already there, waiting. He bows his head and freely admits, "I could not find the source. This pillar is without end. You are the greater." But Brahma, holding up the flower, declares, "I have found it. I reached the very top. This flower is my witness." And at that exact moment, the pillar of light splits open. The sound is like the shattering of reality itself. And from within the infinite light, a third figure emerges. He is magnificent and terrifying. His body is smeared with ash, a crescent moon adorns his matted hair. The river Ganges flows from his locks, a third eye rests on his forehead, and a serpent is coiled around his neck. This is Shiva. He is not just another god. He is the pillar of light. He is the ultimate reality the Brahman made manifest. His third eye blazes with fury, not at their contest but at Brahma's lie. He turns to Brahma and his voice booms across the cosmos. "You have lied," he says. "You have committed an act of cosmic perjury. In your pride, you have tried to claim mastery over that which is infinite and unknowable." And Shiva delivers a curse. "Because of this lie, you, Brahma, will never be worshipped by the people of the worlds you create. There will be no temples in your name, no major festivals in your honor. and to the Ketaki flower he declares, "And you, for participating in this falsehood, will never again be offered in my worship." This is the mythological reason why, even today in India, there are thousands upon thousands of temples dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva, but only a small handful dedicated to Brahma the creator. His role is essential, but his pride and his lie cost him his place of honor. Shiva then turns to Vishnu. He praises him for his honesty and his humility. "You accepted the truth of the infinite," Shiva says. "You understood that some things are beyond measure. For this you will be worshipped as my equal, as a supreme being in your own right." Then Shiva explains the truth to them both. He tells them that neither is greater than the other. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer, are not rivals. They are three faces of the one single ultimate reality. They are different functions of the same divine engine that powers all of existence. One cannot exist without the others. Creation needs preservation. Preservation needs an eventual end to make way for new creation. It is a perfect, unbreakable cycle. This story of the Pillar of Light, the Jyotirlinga, is more than just a cosmic origin story. It's a foundational lesson. It establishes the hierarchy, the characters, and the cosmic law of the universe. It shows us that Vishnu embodies truth and humility, and it shows us that Brahma, for all his creative genius, is flawed by a very human trait, pride. And it is this flawed, fascinating, and fundamentally important character we must now explore. The grand architect of the universe, the God who set everything in motion, yet was cursed to be forgotten. Who is Brahma, really? What are the four heads for? And what exactly did he create? To understand the beginning of everything, we must first understand him. To picture the birth of Brahma is to picture the birth of time itself. Imagine an endless, primordial ocean, dark and silent before stars or suns. Floating on these cosmic waters, coiled upon the serpent of infinity, Anantashisha, lies the great god Vishnu. He is in a state of divine sleep, a cosmic slumber from which all realities are dreamed. And from his navel, a single magnificent lotus flower begins to grow. It rises on a stem of unimaginable length, pushing through the dark waters until it blooms upon the surface, radiant and pure. And in the center of that lotus a being awakens. He opens his eyes to a universe of one. He sees only the boundless water and the petals of his own flower. He has no name, no memory, no purpose. He is utterly alone. This is Brahma. His first act is one of confusion. Who am I? Where did I come from? He looks down the long fibrous stem of the lotus, disappearing into the depths, and decides to find its source. For what felt like 1,000 celestial years, he travels down the stalk, but it is endless. He finds no beginning. Defeated, he climbs back to the flower and sits in meditation, turning his focus inward instead of outward. And in that silence he hears a voice, a single word echoing through the void. Tapa. It means to meditate, to perform austerity. He obeys. For another 1,000 celestial years, he meditates with such intensity that the universe begins to tremble. It is then that Vishnu, the source of the lotus, awakens and reveals himself. He tells Brahma of his destiny, to be the creator, the architect of the cosmos. He is to take the raw materials of existence and give them form, name, and function. With his purpose now clear, Brahma begins his monumental task. But creation is not a simple act. It requires knowledge, vision, and a deep understanding of the forces at play. As he contemplated the void, a goddess manifested from his own being. Some texts call her Kshatrapa, she of 100 beautiful forms. Others identify her as Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge, music, and the arts. She was breathtaking, the first and most perfect female form. And here we see the first great paradox of the creator. Brahma, the divine mind, was overcome with a very human emotion, infatuation. He was completely captivated by her beauty. Uncomfortable under his intense gaze, she moved to his right. To keep her in his sight, a second head sprouted from his neck. She moved to his left, and a third head appeared. She moved behind him, and a fourth head grew. No matter where she went, he could see her. These four heads would become his most defining feature, each one facing a cardinal direction, symbolizing his omniscience over the physical world he was about to build. There's even a story of a fifth head, one that grew on top, looking ever upwards, a symbol of divine pride. a head that would later be severed by the fury of Shiva. A stark reminder that even the creator is not above the cosmic laws of ego and consequence. But for now, with his 4 heads, Brahma was ready. From each of his 4 mouths, he uttered the sacred knowledge of existence. These utterances became the 4 Vedas, the Rig Veda, the Samaveda, the Yajurveda, and the Atharva Veda. They weren't just books. They were the very blueprints of reality, the source code of the universe, containing the hymns, rituals, and philosophies that would govern all life. His creation wasn't forged with a hammer and anvil. It was born from the sheer power of his mind. He thought, and they came into being. He created the Prajapatis, the lords of creatures, divine agents tasked with populating the worlds. From his mind, he birthed the Saptarishi, the 7 great sages, who would become the teachers and guardians of cosmic law. He created the concept of duality, light and darkness, good and evil, day and night, pleasure and pain. One cannot exist without the other. He fashioned Death, a beautiful woman in black, to ensure the cycle of life would turn, that nothing would be stagnant. He laid out the grand cyclical timeline of the universe, the yugas, the ages of man that cycle from gold to iron and back again. He is the divine engineer, the grand architect who designed the entire system. So if Brahma is the source of everything, the creator of gods and men, the author of the sacred Vedas, why is he so rarely worshipped? There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva, but you could count the major temples to Brahma on one hand. Why was the architect of the universe forgotten? The answer lies in a story of cosmic pride. An argument arose between Brahma and Vishnu. Each claimed to be the supreme being, the ultimate creator. As they debated, a colossal blinding pillar of light appeared between them. It shot up into the heavens and plunged into the depths of the primordial ocean, with no visible beginning or end. A third voice, that of Shiva, boomed from the pillar, issuing a challenge. Whoever can find the end of this pillar shall be declared the greatest. Vishnu, taking the form of a great boar Varha, dove into the cosmic waters, determined to find the pillar's base. Brahma, taking the form of a swan, Hamsa, soared into the heavens, seeking its peak. Ages passed. Vishnu descended deeper and deeper, but the pillar was infinite. Humbled, he returned and admitted his failure. He could not find the source. Brahma, however, flew upwards for eons, but also found no end. As he was about to give up, he saw a Ketaki flower floating down from above. He asked the flower where it came from, and it replied that it had been falling from the top of the pillar for 30,000 years. Here, Brahma's pride got the better of him. He saw an opportunity. He made a deal with the flower. "Come with me back to Vishnu," he said, "and testify that you were at the peak and that I reached it." The flower, intimidated, agreed. They returned to the starting point where Vishnu was waiting. Brahma declared his victory, claiming he had reached the top of the pillar, and the Ketaki flower lied for him. At that moment, the pillar of light split open, and Shiva appeared in his terrifying form, radiating immense fury. He was enraged not by the contest, but by the lie. Deceit from the creator himself was an unforgivable corruption of cosmic truth. For his arrogance and his falsehood, Shiva laid down a powerful curse upon Brahma. "You who are the creator have lied. Because of this deception born of ego, you shall no longer be worshipped by the people of the worlds. They will honor your creation, but they will not build temples in your name." And to the Ketaki flower, he declared that it would never again be used as an offering in his worship. This is the tragedy of Brahma. His work was essential, but it was a single act. He designed the machine, wound it up, and set it in motion. But a machine once running needs a preserver, an operator to maintain it and protect it from the forces that seek to dismantle it. And eventually, all machines wear down and need a destroyer to clear the way for a new model. Brahma's era, the Satya Yuga, the age of truth and creation, is complete. His job is done. He sits now largely in the background, a cosmic grandfather watching his universe unfold. His story is a profound lesson that the act of creation is just the beginning. The real drama, the endless battle between order and chaos, requires a different kind of God. For once a universe is born, it must be protected. A cosmic king must rise to maintain balance, to fight back the encroaching darkness, and to descend to earth in times of great peril, to walk among mortals when they have lost their way. Brahma may be the beginning, but the story is far from over. To understand the force that sustains all of existence, We must now turn to the great preserver, the blue-skinned god with the discus and the conch, the protector of Dharma. We must turn to the story of Vishnu. If Brahma is the architect of the universe, and Shiva is its eventual dissolution, then Vishnu is the master engineer, the one who keeps the entire cosmic machine running. He is not a passive caretaker, simply watching from the sidelines. He is the active force of preservation, the sustainer of balance, the CEO of existence itself. His domain is the intricate, impossibly complex system known as Dharma. Now, the word Dharma is often translated as duty or righteousness, but that's like calling the Grand Canyon a ditch. It's an understatement of cosmic proportions. Dharma is the underlying order of the universe. It's the physical laws that keep planets in orbit, the moral laws that bind societies, and the spiritual laws that guide the soul. It's the very source code of reality. When Dharma is upheld, the universe thrives. There is order, justice, and prosperity. But when Dharma decays, its opposite, adharma, rises. Adharma is chaos, injustice, and cosmic decay. It's a virus in the system, a corruption of the code that, if left unchecked, could crash reality itself. And this is where Vishnu's true role becomes clear. He is the divine interventionist, the ultimate troubleshooter. When adharma grows so powerful that it threatens to overwhelm the world, when a demon king gains too much power or humanity loses its way, Vishnu descends from his celestial abode. He doesn't just send a message or an angel. He himself enters the mortal coil, taking on a physical form to restore the balance. These divine incarnations are known as avatars. The scriptures speak of 10 primary avatars, the Dashavatara, who appear throughout the great cycles of time. And what's fascinating is that they don't just represent a series of divine rescue missions. They can be seen as a kind of cosmic evolution, a story of life itself, with each avatar perfectly suited to solve the crisis of its era. The story begins in a time of primordial chaos. The first man, Manu, has been warned of a great flood, a cataclysmic event that will wipe the slate of creation clean. It's a global reset button. As Manu gathers the seeds of all plants and pairs of all animals into a great boat, he doesn't know how he'll survive the deluge. It is then that a tiny fish swims into his hands, begging for protection. Manu places it in a jar, but it soon outgrows it. He moves it to a pond, then a lake, then a river, and finally the ocean, the fish growing to a colossal size at each stage. This is Matsya, Vishnu's first avatar. When the floodwaters rise, the great fish returns, a golden horn upon its head. Manu tethers his ark to the horn, and Matsya guides them safely through the apocalyptic storm, preserving the blueprint of life and the sacred knowledge of the Vedas for the next age. The preserver begins his work not with a sword, but as a humble guide, saving the very potential for a future. But adharma is relentless. In the next age, a powerful demon named Hiranyaksha, in an act of supreme arrogance, steals the earth itself. He drags the goddess Bhudevi, the personification of the planet, down to the bottom of the cosmic ocean, plunging the world into darkness and chaos. The gods are powerless. How do you rescue an entire planet from the abyss? Vishnu's response is a testament to raw divine power. He takes the form of a colossal boar Varha. With a snout that can sniff out the location of the earth and tusks as mighty as mountains, he dives into the primordial waters. He finds Hiranyaksha, and after a battle that rages for 1,000 years, he slays the demon. Then he gently lifts the entire earth on his massive tusks, raising her from the depths and restoring her to her rightful place in the cosmos. Here, Vishnu is not just a guide. He is a cosmic rescuer, a force of nature so powerful it can physically reposition worlds. The threats, however, become more sophisticated. The demons, the forces of adharma, they learn. They begin to exploit the very laws of reality. This leads to one of the most terrifying and brilliant avatars, Narasimha, the man-lion, a demon king also named Hiranyakashipu. The brother of the demon slain by Varha, sought revenge. Through extreme penance, he earned a boon from Brahma himself, a boon designed to make him immortal. He couldn't be killed by a man or a beast. He couldn't be killed indoors or outdoors. He couldn't be killed during the day or at night. He couldn't be killed on the ground or in the air. And he couldn't be killed by any weapon. He had created what he believed to be the perfect, unbreakable contract with reality. He was invincible. He declared himself the one true God and unleashed a reign of terror across the heavens and the earth. His own son, Prahlada, a devout follower of Vishnu, refused to worship him. Enraged, Hiranyakashipu tried to execute his son time and time again, but Prahlada was always saved by his faith. In a final furious confrontation, the demon king points to a pillar in his palace courtyard and roars at his son, "If your Vishnu is everywhere, is he in this pillar?" "Yes," Prahlada replies calmly. "He is." The king smashes the pillar with his mace, and from the splintered stone emerges a form that defies all logic. A creature that is neither man nor beast, but both. A fearsome lion's head on a powerful human body. This is Narasimha. The demon king freezes, his mind racing through the conditions of his boon. As the sun sets on the horizon, at the precise moment of twilight, which is neither day nor night, Narasimha grabs the demon. He drags him to the threshold of the palace doorway, which is neither indoors nor outdoors. He places the demon king upon his lap, which is neither the ground nor the air. And then with a terrifying roar, Narasimha uses his razor-sharp claws, which are not man-made weapons, to tear the demon king apart. Vishnu as Narasimha didn't just defeat a demon, he upheld the integrity of the universe. He honored Brahma's boon, the very word of the creator, while simultaneously executing justice. He proved that Dharma is not a set of rules to be exploited, but a fundamental truth that will always find a way to assert itself. He is the ultimate lawyer of cosmic law, the enforcer who can find a way through any loophole. From a fish to a boar, to this terrifying hybrid, Vishnu's interventions grow in complexity, matching the escalating nature of the threats against existence. He is a strategist, a warrior, a savior, adapting his form and his methods to protect the delicate balance of the cosmos. But these early avatars, as epic as they are, were just the beginning. They were battles against cosmic forces and reality-bending demons. The greatest challenges to Dharma were yet to come, challenges that would arise not from monsters, but from the hearts of men. To face these, Vishnu would need to become more like us. He would have to walk the earth as a king, a prince, and a charioteer, to teach humanity the deepest truths of duty, love, and sacrifice. The stories of Rama and Krishna were yet to unfold, and the first of these great epics begins not with a hero, but with a villain, a king whose power was so immense, it threatened to shatter the balance of the cosmos itself. His name was Ravana, the 10-headed demon king of Lanka. Ravana was not some simple brute. He was a scholar of immense intellect, a master of the Vedas, and a devotee of Lord Shiva so profound that the destroyer himself had granted him divine weapons. But his greatest power came from a boon he had wrested from Brahma the creator. Through years of intense penance, he had forced Brahma to grant him a wish: invincibility. He could not be killed by any god, any celestial being, or any demon. In his arrogance, he considered humans and animals so far beneath him that he didn't even bother asking for protection from them. It would prove to be his fatal mistake. With this boon, Ravana unleashed a reign of terror across the three worlds. He conquered kingdoms, enslaved sages, and assaulted the heavens, his 10 heads a symbol of his insatiable ego and his mastery over worldly knowledge. Yet his heart was a pit of darkness. The very fabric of Dharma, the cosmic law of righteousness that Vishnu was sworn to protect, was tearing at the seams. The gods were powerless. The balance was broken. A solution was needed, one that could exploit the loophole in Ravana's invincibility. If no god could defeat him, then the divine would have to become human. And so, Vishnu chose to be born on earth. He would not descend in a flash of celestial light, but through the humble human process of birth. He came as Rama, the eldest son of King Dashratha of Ayodhya, a kingdom renowned for its prosperity and its unwavering commitment to righteousness. From his first breath, Rama was different. He was the perfect son, the perfect student, the perfect brother. He was the living embodiment of Dharma. His every action, every word was a lesson in duty, compassion, and integrity. He was Maryada Purushottam, the perfect man, the man who never deviates from the highest path of righteousness, no matter the personal cost. Alongside him, the divine energy of his consort, Lakshmi, took birth as Sita, a princess of unparalleled beauty and virtue, discovered as a baby in a furrow of the earth, a daughter of the land itself. When Rama and Sita were joined in marriage, it was more than a royal wedding. It was a cosmic reunion. Their love was the model of a perfect partnership, built on mutual respect, devotion, and a shared commitment to a righteous life. For a time, Ayodhya was a paradise on earth. The future seemed bright, with Rama poised to take his rightful place as king. But the threads of fate or karma are complex and woven through generations. King Dashratha had long ago made a promise to one of his wives, Kaikeyi, granting her 2 boons to ask at any time. Influenced by a malicious handmaiden and consumed by ambition for her own son, Bharata, Kaikeyi chose this moment, on the very eve of Rama's coronation, to cash in her boons. Her demands were like daggers to the heart of the kingdom. First, that her son Bharata be crowned king instead of Rama. And second, that Rama himself be exiled to the forest for 14 years. The king was shattered. The kingdom was plunged into grief and outrage. But Rama's response would define his legacy. There was no anger, no protest, no argument. A promise made by his father was his own promise to keep. His duty to his father's word, his dharma, was more important than any throne, any comfort, any personal desire. To him, this was not a punishment. It was a test of his commitment to righteousness. With a serene calm that stunned the world, he accepted his fate. He traded his royal silks for the simple bark clothes of an ascetic, and he was not alone. His devoted wife, Sita, refused to remain in the palace without him, arguing that her rightful place was by his side, whether in a palace or a forest hut. His loyal brother, Lakshmana, also renounced his life of comfort to protect them. Together, the 3 of them walked out of the gates of Ayodhya, leaving behind a kingdom in tears, and stepped into the wilderness. For years they lived a simple spiritual life in the forest, visiting sages and protecting the innocent from the demons that roamed the wild. But their peace was not to last. Word of Sita's luminous beauty reached the ears of Ravana in his fortress on the island of Lanka. His lust and ego were ignited. Disguising himself as a holy man, he created a diversion, a magical golden deer to lure Rama and Lakshmana away from their hermitage. In their absence, he revealed his monstrous 10-headed form to Sita and, despite her fierce resistance, abducted her, carrying her away in his flying chariot across the sky to his impenetrable island kingdom. Rama's return to an empty hut marked the story's great turning point. His grief was immense, a storm of sorrow and rage that shook the very trees of the forest. The personal had now become cosmic. Ravana had not just stolen a man's wife, he had kidnapped the incarnation of the divine feminine, an act of pure adharma, the opposite of righteousness, that challenged the very order of the universe. Rama's quest was no longer about enduring exile. It was now a mission to rescue Sita and destroy the forces of evil that Ravana represented. As Rama and Lakshmana journeyed south, their search for Sita led them to an alliance that would change the course of history. They met Hanuman, the mighty son of the wind god. Hanuman was a Vanera, a member of a powerful race of intelligent monkey-like beings. But he was more than that. He was the embodiment of bhakti, pure, selfless devotion. Upon meeting Rama, Hanuman instantly recognized his divinity and pledged his life and the might of the entire Vanera army to his cause. It was Hanuman who made the heroic leap across the ocean to Lanka, who found Sita in her captivity, and who returned with the news that set the stage for the final epic confrontation. With the help of his new allies, Rama's forces gathered at the southernmost tip of India. Before them lay the vast, churning expanse of the ocean. Across that water was Lanka, a fortress of gold and hubris, defended by a formidable army of demons. To reach it seemed impossible, but for Vishnu, for the avatar of Dharma, nothing is impossible when fueled by love and supported by devotion. The Vanera army, under the guidance of a brilliant engineer, began a monumental task, building a bridge across the sea. Every rock they placed was inscribed with Rama's name, and miraculously the stones floated. Stone by stone, prayer by prayer, a path was being paved across the impossible waters, a path leading directly to Ravana's doorstep. The stage was set for one of the greatest battles in all of mythology, a war that would pit the quiet strength of righteousness against the loud arrogance of evil. As Rama's army set foot on the shores of Lanka, the very air crackled with anticipation. This wasn't just an invasion, it was a reckoning. On one side stood an army of Vanaras, monkeys and bears, creatures of the forest, armed with rocks, uprooted trees, and an unshakable devotion to Dharma. On the other, the Rakshasas of Lanka, a legion of nightmares. They were shapeshifters and sorcerers, wielding weapons forged in celestial fire, protected by walls that were said to be built by the divine architect himself. It was a battle between the natural and the unnatural, the organic and the engineered, faith against arrogance. Leading the charge was Hanuman, his mace a blur of gold, a living embodiment of righteous fury. With him was Angatha, son of the fallen King Vali, and Jambavan, the ancient and wise king of the bears. They crashed against the gates of Lanka not as a disorganized mob, but as a tidal wave of purpose. The initial clashes were brutal, a chaotic symphony of war cries and shattering stone. The Rakshasas, confident in their own power and the impenetrability of their fortress, were stunned by the sheer ferocity of the assault. They had underestimated the power of an army united not by greed or fear, but by love for their leader and the justice of their cause. But inside the Golden City, another battle was being waged, a battle of conscience. Vibhishana, the youngest brother of Ravana, watched the unfolding chaos with a heavy heart. He was a Rakshasa, yes, but he was also a devout follower of Vishnu. He saw the madness in his brother's eyes, the hubris that had led him to steal another man's wife and drag an entire civilization to the brink of annihilation. He pleaded with Ravana one last time. "Brother," he urged, "return Sita. It is the only path that does not end in ruin. This Rama is no mere mortal. He is the very principle of order in this universe. To fight him is to fight reality itself." Ravana, blinded by his 10-headed ego, laughed. He saw his brother's plea not as wisdom but as weakness, as betrayal. In a fit of rage, he denounced Vibhishana, calling him a coward and a traitor to his own blood. He exiled him from Lanka on the spot. Spurned and heartbroken, Vibhishana made a choice that would echo through eternity. He chose Dharma over family. He chose righteousness over his own kingdom. Using his powers, he flew across the battlefield, his form radiating a calm light amidst the storm of war, and landed at the feet of Rama. Rama's generals were immediately suspicious. How could they trust the brother of their greatest enemy? But Rama, the avatar of Vishnu, saw not a Rakshasa, but a soul in turmoil. He saw the truth in Vibhishana's eyes and welcomed him into his fold. This single act was a masterstroke. It wasn't just a strategic gain. Vibhishana knew all of Lanka's secrets, its weaknesses, its magical defenses. More importantly, it was a moral victory. It proved that Rama's cause was so just, so righteous, that it could even turn his enemy's own brother to his side. It sent a message to the universe. This was not a war of conquest but of liberation. The war escalated. Ravana, now enraged by his brother's defection, unleashed his greatest warriors. Chief among them was his son Indrajit. Indrajit was a warrior of terrifying power, a master of illusion and dark magic. He was the only being known to have ever defeated Indra, the king of the gods, in single combat. That's how he got his name, Conqueror of Indra. He could turn invisible, fire weapons that multiplied into venomous snakes, and create phantom armies that sowed terror and confusion. In one devastating assault, Indrajit ascended into the clouds, hidden from sight, and rained down a storm of celestial arrows upon Rama and his brother Lakshmana. The arrows, known as Nagapasha, weren't mere projectiles. They were living weapons that transformed into a writhing net of serpents, binding the two brothers and injecting them with a paralyzing, life-draining venom. The Vanera army fell into despair. Their leaders, their gods on earth, lay motionless on the battlefield, seemingly dead. All hope seemed lost. But Ravana had forgotten about Garuda, the divine eagle, the celestial mount of Vishnu himself. As Vishnu's eternal companion, Garuda was the mortal enemy of all serpents. Hearing of his master's plight, he descended from the heavens like a golden comet. The mere sight of him sent the magical snakes into a panic, forcing them to release their hold and flee. Garuda's divine presence revitalized the fallen brothers, instantly neutralizing the poison. Once again, the cosmic balance asserted itself. For every dark magic Ravana's forces could conjure, the universe provided an antidote rooted in divine order. The defeat of the serpent arrows was a turning point. It forced Indrajit into a final desperate gambit, a ritual that would grant him an invincible weapon. But Vibhishana, now Rama's trusted advisor, knew of this ritual and its one weakness. He guided Lakshmana to Indrajit's secret temple, and there the two great princes clashed. It was a battle of equals, of light against a sophisticated and powerful darkness. In the end, Lakshmana, channeling the power of Dharma, unleashed an arrow so potent it severed Indrajit's head from his shoulders, ending the reign of Lanka's greatest champion. The news of his son's death shattered Ravana. The arrogant king, the scholar, the master of the Vedas, the devotee of Shiva, was reduced to a grieving father. His pride curdled into pure, unadulterated rage. There were no more champions to send, no more tricks up his sleeve. The time for proxies was over. Donning his celestial armor and mounting his flying chariot, Ravana himself took to the battlefield. The sky darkened as he approached. The very ground trembled. This was the moment the cosmos had been waiting for. Rama met him on foot, armed only with the bow and arrows gifted to him by the sages. The contrast was stark. Ravana in his ornate flying war machine, bristling with a dozen arms, each holding a different terrifying weapon, and Rama, the picture of serene simplicity, standing on the earth, holding a simple bow. It was the ultimate showdown. The frantic, multifaceted chaos of ego versus the calm, singular focus of the soul. Their battle was unlike any the world had ever seen. Every arrow Rama fired was met by an arrow from Ravana. They countered each other's celestial weapons with blasts of energy that lit up the sky and shook the foundations of the world. Rama, with pinpoint precision, would sever one of Ravana's 10 heads, only to watch in disbelief as a new one grew back instantly, laughing with even greater malice. He would shatter Ravana's 10 pairs of arms, only to see them regenerate in a flash. It became terrifyingly clear that Ravana could not be defeated by conventional means. He was a force of regeneration, a symbol of how ego, when cut down, simply regrows, often stronger and uglier than before. For every argument you defeat with logic, the ego creates a new one from emotion. For every vice you conquer, ego finds a new temptation. Rama realized he wasn't just fighting a king. He was fighting a concept. The 10 heads represented the endless, regenerating nature of desire, anger, delusion, greed, and pride. How do you kill an idea? How do you destroy an enemy who simply will not die? You don't kill it with a sword. You don't defeat it with brute force. You kill an idea by starving it of its source. You destroy an enemy that will not die by finding the one thing that gives it life, and extinguishing it. This was the profound realization that dawned on Rama on the battlefield. He had been fighting the symptoms, the 10 monstrous heads of ego and vice, while the disease itself, the very core of Ravana's power, remained untouched. For days the war had raged, a maelstrom of violence and divine power that shook the foundations of the world. But this final duel was different. It was intimate. It was a philosophical argument played out with arrows of light and weapons forged in celestial fire. Every time Rama's celestial arrow, the Sharanga, sliced through one of Ravana's necks, the wound would seal, and a new snarling head would erupt in its place, laughing with renewed arrogance. It was a nightmare of regeneration. It was like trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. Rama realized he wasn't just fighting Ravana, the king of Lanka. He was fighting the very nature of the corrupt ego. The ego is a master of survival. You can cut down its pride, but it grows back as self-pity. You can conquer its greed, but it reemerges as envy. You can defeat its anger, but it regenerates as resentment. The 10 heads were a perfect metaphor for the unkillable nature of our own inner demons when we only attack their surface-level manifestations. So, how did Ravana get this power? Where did this seemingly infinite wellspring of life come from? The answer, ironically, lies with the creator himself, Brahma. Years before, Ravana had performed immense penance, austerities so severe that they generated a spiritual heat that began to scorch the heavens. He stood on one leg for 1,000 years, surrounded by 5 fires, meditating on Brahma. He even began to offer his own heads into the fire as a sacrifice. After he had sacrificed 9 of his 10 heads and was about to offer the last, Brahma, the creator, finally appeared before him, pleased by his devotion. Brahma, as the principle of creation, is impartial. He doesn't operate on a human scale of good and evil. He is a cosmic force. When the conditions for creation are met, creation happens. Ravana's penance met the conditions for a boon. Brahma asked him what he desired, and Ravana, in his arrogance, asked for immortality. Brahma explained that absolute immortality was against the rules of the cosmos he had created. Everything that is born must die. So Ravana, clever and conceited, amended his request. He asked for invulnerability from any god, demon, celestial being, or spirit. He listed every powerful creature he could imagine. But in his hubris, in his utter contempt for lesser beings, he forgot to mention 2, humans and monkeys. He couldn't imagine a scenario where such weak creatures could ever pose a threat to him. Brahma, bound by the laws of karma and penance, had no choice but to grant the boon. And so, the seeds of chaos were sown by the Creator himself. This is a crucial point to understand about the Trimurti. They are not a team of superheroes. They are cosmic functions. Brahma creates the potential, but he doesn't control how that potential is used. He gives you the gun. Whether you use it to defend the innocent or to rob a bank is a matter of your own dharma, your own choices. Ravana, armed with Brahma's boon, chose chaos. He became a tyrant, disrupting the balance of the cosmos so severely that the earth itself cried out in pain. And when the cosmic balance is threatened, when dharma is on the verge of collapse, that is when the cosmic function of preservation kicks in. That is when Vishnu awakens. He saw the loophole in Ravana's boon. The demon king could not be killed by gods or demons, but he could be killed by a man. And so Vishnu, the great preserver, incarnated himself as Rama, a mortal prince to restore order. But there's another layer of complexity here. Another twist that involves the third member of the Trimurti, Shiva the Destroyer. Ravana was not just a recipient of Brahma's boon. He was perhaps the most ardent, most fanatical devotee of Shiva. He wrote hymns to Shiva, he meditated on Shiva, he even tried to lift Shiva's home, the entire Mount Kailash, to bring it back to Lanka. When he failed and his arms were crushed beneath the mountain, he is said to have ripped out his own nerves and sinews to use as strings for a makeshift instrument, playing and singing praises to Shiva for 1,000 years until the destroyer, pleased, appeared and gifted him a divine, indestructible sword. How can this be? How can the ultimate agent of adharma, of chaos and ego, be the greatest devotee of the ultimate destroyer of ego? It's because Ravana fundamentally misunderstood Shiva. He saw destruction not as a cleansing force, not as a necessary part of a cycle of renewal, but as a tool of power and domination. He worshipped Shiva's ferocity, but ignored his detachment. He coveted Shiva's power, but rejected his asceticism. Ravana's devotion was entirely transactional. He wasn't seeking liberation from his ego. He was seeking to empower it. He wanted to become the destroyer, not to serve the cosmic cycle of destruction and rebirth, but to make the cosmos serve him. And so, on the battlefield, we have this incredible cosmic drama. An avatar of Vishnu, the preserver, is fighting a demon empowered by Brahma, the creator, who is also the greatest devotee of Shiva, the destroyer. The entire Trimurti is present in this single conflict, each representing a different facet of the cosmic law that Ravana has so thoroughly broken. Rama, holding his divine bow, finally understood. He couldn't keep cutting off the heads. He had to go for the source. According to some versions of the epic, Ravana's brother Vibhishana, who had defected to Rama's side in the name of Dharma, revealed Ravana's secret. The demon king kept a pot of divine nectar, the amrita that grants immortality, hidden in his navel. This was the source of his regenerative power. It was the battery pack for his monstrous ego. In other interpretations, the target wasn't a physical pot of nectar, but something more symbolic. His heart, the seat of his ego, the very center of his being. To destroy Ravana, Rama had to bypass the 10 loud, distracting heads of his vices and strike at the quiet, vulnerable core of his identity. And for this final impossible shot, Rama needed a final impossible weapon. He invoked the most powerful weapon in all of existence, a weapon he had been given for this very purpose. The Brahmastra, the arrow of Brahma. Think about that. A weapon of last resort, created by Brahma himself. A weapon containing the fundamental power of creation, capable of being weaponized for a single targeted act of uncreation. It was the perfect symmetrical end. The power of the creator, which had been misused by Ravana to fuel his ego, was now being wielded by the preserver to restore balance by targeting the very source of that ego. Rama knocked the golden, feathered arrow. The battlefield fell silent. The wind stopped. The gods in the heavens held their breath. He drew the bowstring to his ear, his mind perfectly calm, his focus absolute. He wasn't aiming at a head. He wasn't aiming at a limb. He was aiming at a concept. He was aiming at the heart of chaos. He whispered the sacred mantras, infusing the arrow with the full weight of Dharma, with the cosmic necessity of this one final act. And he let it fly. The Brahmastra didn't just fly. It tore a hole in reality, blazing with the light of 1,000 suns. It didn't strike one of the 10 heads. It bypassed them completely, as if they were nothing more than ghosts, and plunged directly into Ravana's chest. For a moment there was no sound, and then a shudder. Ravana, the invincible, the terror of the three worlds, dropped his weapons. He looked down at the glowing arrow embedded in his core. The 10 heads didn't scream or roar. For the first time they looked confused, then fearful, and then one by one they simply faded. They dissolved into smoke because their source of power, the central ego that gave them life, had been extinguished. Ravana fell to his knees, and then collapsed onto the dusty plains of Lanka, his reign of terror finally and truly over. The Preserver had done his job. Order was restored, but Vishnu's work is never truly finished. Restoring balance is one thing. Maintaining it is another. Because in a universe of constant change, the forces of chaos are never truly defeated. They are merely dormant, waiting for the next ego, the next tyrant, the next imbalance to give them form once again. And so, the stage is set for the final act of a cosmic drama. When the laws of Dharma are twisted beyond recognition, when the universe itself grows weary and sick with corruption, when preservation is no longer a viable option, a different kind of intervention is required. This isn't a surgical strike to remove a single tyrant. This is a controlled demolition of the entire rotting structure. This is the role of the third and perhaps most misunderstood member of the Trimurti, Shiva, the Destroyer. But to call him simply the Destroyer is like calling a supernova simply a flash of light. It misses the entire point. Shiva's destruction is not an act of malice or chaos. It is an act of compassion. It is the fierce, unwavering love of a god who refuses to let his creation suffer in a state of terminal decay. He is the cosmic recycler, the divine physician who knows that sometimes the only cure is to let the fever burn itself out, to let the old world turn to ash so a new, healthier one can rise from it. Where Vishnu is the king, robed in silk and gold, upholding the intricate order of society, Shiva is the ascetic, the outsider. He dwells not in opulent palaces but on the icy, desolate peaks of Mount Kailash. He is smeared not with fragrant sandalwood, but with the gray ash of the cremation ground, a constant reminder of the impermanent nature of all things. He is the untamed, primal energy of the universe. While Brahma builds the machine and Vishnu keeps it running, Shiva is the one who has the courage to pull the plug when the machine is broken beyond repair. Look at the symbolism that surrounds him. Every detail is a universe of meaning. He is often depicted with a third eye in the center of his forehead. This is not a physical eye, but the eye of wisdom, of higher consciousness. It remains closed, representing his deep, meditative state. But when it opens, it unleashes a fire that incinerates not the physical world, but the world of illusion, of ego, of ignorance. The very imbalances that corrupt the universe are turned to dust by its gaze. In his hand he holds the Trishula, the trident. Its 3 prongs are often said to represent the 3 fundamental qualities of nature: creation, preservation, and destruction. It signifies that he is the master of this entire cosmic cycle. He wields the very forces that Brahma and Vishnu embody, but his purpose is to bring them to their ultimate conclusion. He also carries the damaru, a small hourglass-shaped drum. When he shakes it, its rhythm is said to be the very heartbeat of the cosmos, the sound from which the first vibrations of creation emerged. It is the pulse of life, and in his hands, it is also the drumbeat that signals its end. Around his neck is a serpent, the cobra Vasaki. A serpent often represents the ego, the venomous, primal, and dangerous part of our nature. But for Shiva, the snake is not a threat. It is an ornament. It rests peacefully around his neck, signifying his complete mastery over his own ego and the primal fears that paralyze mortals. From the matted locks of his hair flows the sacred river Ganges. Legend says the river was descending to earth with such force it would have shattered the planet. Shiva, in an act of grace, caught the entire celestial river in his hair, taming its power and releasing it gently for the benefit of all life. Here, the great destroyer becomes the great protector, showing that his power is not wild and indiscriminate, but precise and purposeful. He sits on a tiger skin, a symbol of his victory over lust and all animalistic passions. And he is covered in vibhuti, the sacred ash. This ash is a powerful, stark reminder of the ultimate reality. It says that beneath the skin, beneath the titles, beneath the wealth and the power, we are all the same. Everything you see, everything you build, everything you are, will one day return to this fundamental state. For Shiva, this is not a morbid thought. It is a liberating one. It is freedom from attachment, freedom from the illusion of permanence. But perhaps the most profound and iconic representation of Shiva is as Natraja, the Lord of the Dance. This isn't just a dance. It is the Tandava, the cosmic dance of creation and destruction. Imagine him in this form. One foot raised in a pose of elegant release, the other stomping firmly on the back of a small demon. That demon is a Pasmara, the personification of ignorance and ego. Shiva is not killing him. He is crushing him, subduing him, showing that enlightenment is not about destroying the ego but about transcending it. He is surrounded by a ring of fire, a symbol of the cosmos itself and the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The universe is his stage. In one hand he holds the Damara drum, its rhythm bringing the universe into being. In another hand he holds a flame, the fire that will consume it. Creation and destruction, held in perfect balance. Another hand is raised in a gesture of blessing, saying, "Be without fear." And his fourth hand points down to his raised foot, indicating that the path to liberation, to freedom from this endless cycle, lies at his feet. The dance of Shiva is a metaphor for the universe itself. It is not static. It is a constant, rhythmic, pulsating flow of energy. Everything is in motion. Stars are born and they die. Civilizations rise and they fall. Life emerges and it recedes. Shiva's dance is this very process. He is not a distant god pulling strings. He is the rhythm, the energy, the process of change itself. He is the principle that all that is created must eventually be dissolved. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. An old, overgrown forest must burn for new saplings to get sunlight. A star must collapse to seed the cosmos with the heavy elements necessary for life. An old, unjust social order must fall for a more equitable one to be born. This is the function of Shiva. He is the force of radical transformative change. And this reveals the deepest paradox of his nature. He is the ultimate ascetic, lost in meditation, completely detached from the world. Yet, he is also a passionate husband to the goddess Parvati, and a loving father to his sons, Ganesha and Kartikeya. He is the hermit and the householder, the embodiment of both absolute stillness and explosive energy. This duality teaches a profound lesson. True spiritual power lies not in escaping the world, but in being fully engaged in it without being attached to its outcomes. To love fiercely, to live fully, but to always remember the ultimate reality represented by the ash on your skin. So when the cosmic clock winds down, when the universe is old and tired, when Dharma is a forgotten memory and adharma, chaos and unrighteousness reigns supreme, it is Shiva who begins his Tandava. The rhythm of his drum quickens, the fire from his third eye blazes, and the worlds begin to dissolve. It is a terrifying, awesome spectacle, but it is not an ending. It is an intermission. It is the universe taking a deep, long breath. He dissolves everything back into its purest, most potential form, wiping the slate clean. He creates the perfect, silent, empty void so that Brahma, the creator, can wake up and begin his work once more. The destruction is not a tragedy. It is the ultimate act of renewal, the promise that no matter how dark things get, a new dawn is always, always possible. It is the final necessary step that makes the whole cycle of creation possible in the first place. But this cosmic cycle isn't a simple automated process like a machine. It's a dynamic, often dramatic interplay between these three immense personalities. They are not distant colleagues in separate cosmic offices. They are deeply interconnected, their stories woven together in a single epic tapestry. Their relationship is the engine of reality itself. And like any relationship involving such immense power, it is filled with moments of cooperation, of conflict, and of profound revelation. One of the most powerful stories that illustrates this dynamic begins, as many great stories do, with an argument. It was an argument over supremacy. Brahma, the creator, and Vishnu, the preserver, found themselves debating who was the greater of the two. Brahma, proud of his role as the progenitor of all life, declared, "I created this universe. All beings spring from me. Therefore, I am the supreme." But Vishnu, the sustainer of cosmic order, countered, "You may create, but it is I who preserves your creation. Without my protection, your work would collapse into chaos. Therefore, I am the supreme." Their argument escalated, their divine words shaking the foundations of the cosmos. As their egos flared, threatening to destabilize the very reality they governed, a blinding pillar of light erupted between them. It was a column of pure, infinite fire, with no discernible beginning and no visible end. It pierced through all the realms of existence, stretching upwards into the highest heavens and downwards into the deepest netherworlds. It was a sight of such terrifying and beautiful majesty that both gods fell silent, their argument forgotten in the face of this impossible phenomenon. Driven by a new kind of cosmic curiosity, they made a pact. They would try to find the source of this great pillar. Whoever could find its end would be declared the victor, the supreme being. Vishnu, with his unwavering determination, took the form of a powerful boar, his tusks ready to tear through reality itself, and began to dig downwards, plunging into the depths of the universe to find the pillar's base. Brahma, confident in his celestial reach, transformed into a graceful swan and soared upwards, flying at unimaginable speeds to find its peak. Ages passed. Eons turned to dust. Vishnu burrowed deeper and deeper, through countless layers of reality, but no matter how far he went, the pillar of fire continued, its foundation always beyond his reach. Exhausted and humbled, he finally admitted defeat and returned to the surface. Brahma, meanwhile, flew higher than any being had ever flown, past galaxies and nebulae, to the very edge of conceivable space. Yet the pillar of light stretched on endlessly. As he began to despair, he saw a single Ketaki flower floating down from above. He caught it and asked where it came from. The flower replied that it had been falling from the top of the pillar for 30,000 years. Here Brahma's pride got the better of him. Seeing an opportunity, he made a deal with the flower. He would return to Vishnu and claim to have reached the top, and the flower would serve as his false witness. So Brahma descended, and with false confidence, declared his victory to Vishnu, presenting the flower as proof. Vishnu, honest in his failure, was about to concede defeat. But at that exact moment, the pillar of fire split open, and from within its incandescent heart, a third figure emerged. It was Shiva. In that moment, both Brahma and Vishnu understood. This pillar was Shiva himself, the infinite, formless reality from which they both originated. Shiva, angered by Brahma's lie, cursed him, declaring that he would rarely be worshipped by mortals, a curse which helps explain the relative scarcity of temples dedicated to Brahma today. But he praised Vishnu for his honesty and humility. The story is a stunning lesson in cosmic hierarchy. It reveals that while Brahma creates and Vishnu preserves, both of their functions emanate from a source that is beyond both creation and preservation. They are finite expressions of an infinite reality, a reality personified as Shiva, the ultimate ground of all being. But their relationship isn't always one of competition. Often it is one of desperate, necessary collaboration. The most famous example is the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk. This was a monumental undertaking, a joint venture between the gods and the demons to churn the cosmic ocean and extract Amrita, the nectar of immortality. To do this, they needed a churning rod, so they used the mighty Mount Mandara. And they needed a rope, so they convinced Vasaki, the king of serpents, to wrap himself around the mountain. But as they began to churn, the mountain, heavy beyond imagination, started to sink into the ocean floor. The entire grand project was on the verge of collapse. It was then that Vishnu, the preserver, intervened. He took the form of a colossal tortoise Kurm, dove to the bottom of the ocean, and placed the mountain on his unshakable shell, providing the stable foundation upon which the churning could continue. He literally bore the weight of the world on his back to preserve the divine plan. As they churned, incredible treasures emerged from the ocean. But then something terrible happened. Before the nectar, a horrific, deadly poison called halahala emerged. It was a black, fuming substance so toxic it threatened to annihilate the entire universe. The gods and demons recoiled in terror. The cosmos began to burn. All of creation cried out in agony. Who could possibly contain such a destructive force? Brahma and Vishnu were powerless against it. So they turned to the only being who could. They prayed to Shiva. Hearing their pleas, Shiva appeared, calm amidst the chaos. With an act of ultimate compassion and sacrifice, he gathered the fuming poison into his palm and drank it all. He didn't swallow it, but held it in his throat, which turned a permanent deep blue, earning him the name Nilkantha, the blue-throated one. He absorbed the universe's ultimate negativity, neutralizing its destructive power, and allowing the churning to continue until the nectar of immortality finally appeared. Think about what this story shows us. It required Vishnu's foundational stability and Shiva's transcendent ability to absorb destruction for the ultimate goal to be achieved. Brahma, in many tellings, acted as the divine engineer overseeing the process. None of them could have done it alone. Creation, preservation, and destruction were not separate jobs. They were integrated roles in a single cosmic effort. So, are they three different gods? Or are they one? The answer, in the deepest sense of Hindu philosophy, is both. And neither. The Trimurti are best understood as three primary faces of a single, ultimate, formless reality known as Brahman. Brahman is the uncaused cause, the transcendent, genderless, attributeless source of everything. It is pure consciousness, pure existence, pure bliss. It is the ocean. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the three most powerful waves to rise from that ocean. They are the first and most fundamental personifications of the impersonal absolute. They are what happens when the infinite puts on a face so that the finite mind can comprehend it. Brahman is the silent, unmanifest potential, while the Trimurti are its active, manifest power. It's like the concept of H2O. H2O can manifest as solid ice, liquid water, or gaseous steam. They have different properties, different functions, different appearances, but they are all fundamentally the exact same substance. So too are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. They are three distinct expressions of one indivisible divine reality, each performing a necessary function in the cosmic play. They are the ultimate team, the divine partnership that spins the universe into being, holds it in a delicate balance, and lovingly clears the stage for its next great act. And in this grand cosmic theater, what is our role? Are we merely spectators watching the divine drama unfold? The wisdom of the sages suggests something far more profound. It suggests that the same forces that govern the galaxies also govern the atoms within our own bodies. The Trimurti are not just external deities managing the cosmos from some distant heaven. They are living principles, archetypal energies that flow through every aspect of our existence. The universe is not just out there, it is in here. Think about it. Every single day you are Brahma. Every time you have a new idea, start a new project, write the first sentence of an email, or even just decide what to make for breakfast, you are tapping into the creative force. You are bringing something new into existence out of the void of potential. That spark, that initial impulse to build, to make, to begin, that is the energy of Brahma flowing through you. It's the raw, untamed, magnificent power of a universe that refuses to stand still. And then, once that creation exists, you become Vishnu. You maintain the project. You water the plant you just potted. You nurture the relationship you just started. You work to keep your body healthy, your finances stable, your home in order. This is the act of preservation, of sustaining the delicate balance of what has been created. It requires diligence, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to order and harmony. This is the steady, watchful, benevolent energy of Vishnu, ensuring that the creation has a chance to flourish and fulfill its purpose. But inevitably, the cycle must continue. And so, you must become Shiva. You have to delete the old file to make space for the new one. You have to end a job that no longer serves you. You have to let go of a belief that is holding you back. You have to accept the end of a season, the conclusion of a chapter, the finality of a loss. This is not about mindless destruction. This is transformation. It is the courageous, necessary act of clearing away the old, the obsolete, and the decayed, so that the ground is fertile for Brahma's next act of creation. This is the profound, liberating, and often misunderstood energy of Shiva. We fear this final aspect the most, don't we? We cling to preservation, to the comfort of the known. But without Shiva's dance, the universe would become a museum of old creations, cluttered, stagnant, and lifeless. There would be no room for new stars, no space for new ideas, no possibility for growth. Shiva's role is not one of malice. It is one of cosmic mercy. It is the ultimate act of letting go, which is the prerequisite for all new beginnings. But there's a crucial element we haven't fully explored, a power so fundamental that without it, the Trimurti themselves would be inert. For every one of these divine masculine principles, there is an equally powerful divine feminine energy, a Shakti that provides the very power to act. They are not mere consorts or secondary figures. They are the other half of the equation, the kinetic energy that brings the potential to life. With Brahma, the creator is Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge, music, and the arts. What is creation without the wisdom to guide it? It's just chaos. Brahma may have the impulse to create the universe, but it is Sarasvati's knowledge that provides the blueprint. She is the divine intelligence, the very concept of order and beauty that allows creation to be coherent and meaningful. An idea without knowledge is just a fleeting thought. Sarasvati is the substance that makes it real. With Vishnu, the preserver is Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. How can one sustain and preserve anything without the resources to do so? Lakshmi is not just about material wealth, but about abundance in all its forms: health, joy, fertility, and grace. Vishnu maintains cosmic order, but it is Lakshmi who provides the nourishment, the richness, and the vitality that makes that order worth preserving. She is the divine abundance that fuels the engine of existence. And with Shiva, the transformer, is Parvati, the goddess of power, devotion, and motherhood. She is the ultimate Shakti, the raw energy of the universe itself. In her gentler forms, she is the devoted wife who grounds Shiva's ascetic wildness. But in her fiercer forms like Durga or Kali, she is the warrior, the slayer of demons, the very force of dissolution and time that Shiva wields. Shiva may be the catalyst for change, but Parvati is the power that makes that change happen. She is the divine will that turns the potential for transformation into an unstoppable reality. So you see, it's not just a Trimurti. It is a complex, interwoven dance of masculine and feminine, of potential and energy, of consciousness and power. One cannot exist without the other. They are two sides of the same divine coin. This understanding helps us move beyond the simplistic Western interpretation of the Trimurti as a Hindu Trinity, directly analogous to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's a common mistake born from trying to fit one system into the framework of another. The concept is fundamentally different. The Trimurti are not a hierarchy of Father and Son, nor are they a statement on the singular nature of God in three persons. Rather, they are a functional model of the cosmos. They are the job descriptions, the primary roles that the one ultimate reality performs. And what is that one ultimate reality? Beyond Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Hindu philosophy speaks of Brahman. Not Brahma, the creator, but Brahman spelled with an an at the end. Brahman is the uncreated, unchanging, infinite, and formless reality that is the source of all things. It is the screen upon which the movie of the universe is projected. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the lead actors in that movie. They are the most powerful and primary manifestations of Brahman, but they are still manifestations. Brahman is the ocean. The Trimurti are the three most powerful waves within it. This is the beauty of this worldview. It allows for a vast and seemingly endless pantheon of gods and goddesses, each representing a specific function or aspect of this ultimate reality, Brahman. It's why some say there are 330 million gods in Hinduism. That number isn't meant to be taken literally. It's a poetic way of saying that the divine is infinite, and there are infinite ways to perceive and connect with it. You can worship the divine as a creator, a preserver, a destroyer, a goddess of knowledge, a god of removing obstacles, whatever form resonates with your soul. But the underlying wisdom is that all of these are simply different windows looking into the same single unified source of all being. The Trimurti are the master key to this understanding. They are the highest level summary of how everything works. They teach us that the universe is a dynamic, breathing, and cyclical process. It is not a one-time creation event that is now winding down. It is an eternal cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, of expansion, stability, and contraction, again and again and again. This ancient story, born from the banks of the Indus and Ganges rivers thousands of years ago, is ultimately a story about balance. It tells us that for life to exist, there must be a perfect equilibrium between the forces of creation and destruction, with the steady hand of preservation holding the center. It's a message that is more relevant today than ever before, in a world that often prizes endless creation and consumption, while fearing and denying the necessity of endings and decay. The Trimurti invite us to see our own lives not as a straight line from A to B, but as a series of these sacred cycles. To honor our inner Brahma and have the courage to start anew. To embrace our inner Vishnu and lovingly tend to the gardens of our lives. And perhaps most importantly, to find the strength and wisdom of our inner Shiva. To gracefully let go of what must end, knowing that every sunset is the promise of a new dawn. They are the rhythm of the cosmos, the pulse of the universe, and the beat of our very own hearts. They are the beginning, the middle, and the end, which is and always will be another beginning.